look homeless. Sitting here in the blazing noonday sun with the cool breeze on my face, next to a cardboard box. Somebody had just put a $20 bill in it, thinking that I was begging. I didn't have the energy to explain to him that that is not the sum of my worldly belongings, but in fact the contents of my old office. A place where I used to work up until about 15 minutes ago. As I've been walking out of that building, I got a call from my girlfriend of 15 years, telling me that we were through. Now, I'd seen both of these events coming. I was emotionally prepared for both of them to happen. I was not emotionally prepared for both of them to happen at the same time. And so here I am, just sitting in a daze. I should probably do something. Go home, get something to eat. That's when I realized that the woman owns the deed to the house, and showing up there right now would definitely not be a good idea. I don't much feel like dealing with a restraining order, even though I definitely would not be the aggressor. Explaining that to the police would not be easy. I have a very stoic, scary-looking face. My old coworkers used to call me Stone Face, in fact, because I was known for having never smiled. I sigh. At least I have $20. That should be enough to get something to eat. My feet walk me over to the local convenience store. Not really knowing where I'm going, I walk in and go down the food aisle. I can hear yelling at the cash register. There's a Karen over there, explaining and yelling and waving her arms about for some reason or another, I don't know. What is with Karens, I think to myself as I blankly stare at a can of green beans. None of my family members are Karens. None of the people at church are Karens. They're all perfectly normal human beings, not these animals in human skin that I see walking around every so often. Statistically, with as many that I see yelling at cashiers and in grocery stores, surely someone I know would have ended up being a Karen. But no one I know is a Karen. Where do these people come from? Where do Karens go? I cuss underneath my breath. I'm gonna have Cotton Eye Joe stuck in my head now for the next 24 hours. That's alright. The Karen gets what she wants, a bag of Twinkies for free, and walks out. I shake my head. Where do Karens come from? I buy my can of green beans and leave the store, not realizing I didn't have a can opener, and on top of that, who eats just green beans? But I wasn't really thinking straight, like I had said before. I start to walk down the boardwalk. No plan in mind, when I look up, and I see the Karen is walking roughly the same direction as me. Except this time, she is no longer a blonde. She is now a brunette. It's definitely the same woman, though. Same clothes, same posture. I'm good at recognizing people's body positions and how they move, and this is definitely the same woman. I think nothing of it until I see the woman throw something into a trash can, which looks suspiciously like a blonde wig and a bag of Twinkies. Now that is weird. I'm intrigued. I have nothing better to do, so I decide to follow her. Now, I know that is technically stalker behavior, and look, I wasn't thinking straight. Something about having your entire life upended and having your heart broken at the same time kind of loosens up your inhibitions, so I just wanted to see where this Karen goes. Maybe there's a place where Karens live, like a Karen town. I don't know. We walked for about 20 minutes. She turned down a road, and I turned down as well, staying about 15 feet behind her. I am sure she must have noticed I was behind her, but we still continue walking. She turns down a dark alley. I follow. She comes out the other side in a section of town that I'd never been before. There is a man in a sailor's hat, leaning against a wall. She walks up to him, not saying anything. He hands her a piece of paper, and she walks on. I walk up to the man myself, look the man dead in the eye. He raises his eyebrows. "Oh, it is good to see you, my friend," the man says with an old wizened voice. "There aren't many of us brothers left. The Vatican has hunted most of us down, but I'm glad you survived. Here's your ticket, friend. Enjoy the rest of your life." He hands me a sheet of paper. which turns out to be a ticket to a cruise ship. I happen to know where this cruise ship is, so I make my way over to it. If I'd been thinking straight, I probably would have said this was weird and gone back to my normal life, but I didn't currently have a life, so I just kept walking. I made it to the cruise ship and boarded. Even though the outside of the cruise ship is immaculate, walking into it, it is just a single empty room, completely filled with Karens. Women of all shapes and sizes, just standing, minding their own business in a large gymnasium. I make my way in, nobody minds me, and just stand there. After a few moments, the ship takes off. The waves rock us back and forth, causing us to slowly shuffle around. I end up next to the woman I'd originally been following, and we stand there. About an hour goes by. She doesn't acknowledge my existence. That is, until I start humming Cotton Eye Joe underneath my breath. She looks up. Really? I apologize. She might be a Karen, but there is no excuse for singing Cotton Eye Joe in a tightly confined space. It is unfortunately too late, and I can hear someone to my left starting to hum it a few minutes later. After a couple hours have gone by, the ship makes its way to a deserted island, tropical paradise. The Karen I'm following walks off the boat. I follow, making my way down the gangplank, and just like before, she acts like she doesn't even notice that I'm there. We make our way off the beach into the jungle, walking through it for a good 15 minutes, down an old animal path. She seems to know her way around. I notice that there are large footprints that I don't recognize. Some heavy animal lives on this island. She eventually makes her way to a little secluded beach. I stay in the forest, hiding behind a tree, just peeking out. The woman steps into the water, about knee-deep, and raises her hands, and then calls in a clear voice, "Mother, I am home!" With a deep noise, so low I can barely register it, but still feel it rattling in my bones. A large object moves through the water. Then, about 30 feet from the Karen, another woman with a very similar face pokes her head up out of the water. "Welcome, daughter. Let me look at you," she calls, her voice echoing on the waves. "I have done it, mother. I have sucked the soul energy from 1,000 men. Very good. You are now ready for ascension. Let your energy course through your veins," the woman calls, her hair lifting in an unseen wind. The Karen stands for a moment and then cries out in pain. She clutches her stomach and curls down into the water, then thrashes back and forth, moaning and wailing, whipping her hair around, splashing, waving her hands in pain and anger. Her body aggravates the water into a white froth, and then her body starts to change. Like a broiling cancer, a bubbling thing starts to rise up underneath the woman's skin, pushing her shoulders out, expanding. Her body bloats. Her head is pushed up, the neck extending out 5, 6, 7 feet. Her arms shrink. Her lower body, her legs expand, all bubbling like a growth. She cries out, and then her cry turns into a roar. Then there's silence. The woman stands, now possessing the body of a Tyrannosaurus Rex, except with human skin instead of scales. Everything is gross and grotesquely large except for the woman's face, which still remains human. I have ascended, mother. The woman out in the waves drops below the water. And then the deep sound comes again, and the woman rises up. Her body is like that of a giant prehistoric sea animal, rising high into the air, easily the size of an aircraft carrier. Her bulk, with the fins and flippers and tentacles coming off at weird angles, all covered in human skin, juxtaposed by the normality of the tiny woman's head. Then join me, she calls, and then sinks below the waves. The wave from her dropping into the water crashes over the beach. I hold on to the tree as the water crashes around me. Then it sucks back into the ocean. The ground, the beach, the trees, as dry as if it had never happened, and the woman's face just above the water like it had been at the beginning of the conversation. Now that that is taken care of, my daughter, let's address the elephant in the room. Tell me about your friend, the one who doesn't have a soul. The Karen slowly rotates her head around on her long neck to look at me, and she smiles. Thank y'all for watching. This video has been a part of the Karen For You video project. Scrolling on the screen right now is a message from the original author, basically describing how to be a part of this video series. You should read it, but the long and short of it is, record what you think happens next in the story, and post a link to my video in your description, and then post a link to your video in my comment section, and I'll check it out. That's basically it. There's some other rules that has to go into making one of these videos, like you have to include Karen For You episode 1 somewhere in your video title, and stuff like that. And you have to have these rules scrolling on the screen. So yeah, it's a fun little thing, just a goofy project. I hope a lot of people contribute to this so that I can mess up your stories with weird things to happen in them, or maybe come up with something cool, or maybe, I don't know, just make it a poop post for the internet. Let this be the largest of poop posts. You know how, like, not just like a regular little pile of poop, but like, you know how like horses will all poop in the same place? Like, you'll see a little pile of poop, and then I'll poop on your poop, and we can all poop together and be a big poop family. That's what I'm hoping for, is for us all to poop. So yes, record your poop and share it. There's also a thing about a point system where each of us authors have a point system based on the types of videos. It's interesting. You can read it. I wouldn't really worry too much about it though. Why is it there? You'd have to ask the original author, which is me, and you can't ask me because I don't exist. That's right. This is just poop. Think about this. This is just the internet's poop. Why am I saying poop so much? Is this I don't know. I've got like 3 minutes of time I need to do for you all to read this, and all I can say is poop. Maybe it's because I've been having like internal poop problems recently, and I'm trying to express that for the internet. I don't know. This is stupid. Maybe I should re-record this. Nah, that's fine. This is golden. This is golden poop. So yes, come poop with me, and so I can, poop with you. Or you know what? Just read the thing. That'd be better. It makes more sense. See y'all.